What if we realize along the way that we had picked a wrong column and dropped it into the wrong logical level at the time of creating of these different levels? What you simply do is we'll go ahead and assume that we had made an error and we wanted to fix it. You'd simply right click on the object you want to remove, delete, and you'll be warned before you are allowed to proceed, and you click yes. So we've removed all the different columns from the product detail level. And what we wanted to do was to use two different columns from the D2 table. So we'll go ahead and pick them, drop them, and drop. Then we'll use the second method of assigning keys. So right click, new logical level key, and then we want to use product as a key, and then we do not want to use for display. I'm sorry, we do not want to use for display, but we want to use that one for display. So go ahead and click on OK. So to verify that we've used the correct use for display column, we'll double click product detail and notice that color was picked as for use for display flag, and then the prod key was used as the primary key in this step. And we'll click OK to close the dialog box. Next, we'll create a logical dimension for the time dimension table. We'll use a different technique to create a logical dimension for the time. We'll right click the D4 time logical table and then select create logical key, then dimension with level based hierarchy. Right click, create logical dimension, dimension with level based hierarchy. This creates a time dimension logical level hierarchy, and the new logical dimension D4 time dim in this example is automatically added to the business model. We rename the newly created time dimension hierarchy to remain consistent with our naming convention. So we'll right click on the rename, choose rename, H4 time, click outside, that should rename it. Expand the H4 time, and then we'll expand it again. Notice that two levels were created automatically, the total level and the detail level. The D4 level detail is populated with all the columns from the D4 time logical table. These columns should replicate exactly what's under here. This is something to take note of when you create a time dimension hierarchy for a time dimension table. Now we want to rename again these two levels from D4 time total to time total. So right click on rename, time total, and then we'll do the same, time detail. This makes our development works appear a little bit cleaner and easier to read as you present this level in different parts of our development work. Right click on time detail and select new object, parent level, to open the logical level dialog box. Then on the general tab, name the logical level weak and check supports roll up to higher level of aggregation if it's not already selected for us. Then this is pre-selected for us, so we do not need to do anything. Then click OK. Next, we want to repeat the steps to add the remaining logical levels. We'll add month as a parent of week, quarter as a parent of month, and year as a parent of quarter. The final results should be displayed after all these different levels have been added. So go ahead and right click, new object, parent, month, click OK. Then we'll add quarter, parent, click OK. Then the parent of quarter will be year. Go ahead and click OK. So we expand different levels. So once you've successfully done all the steps as shown here, you should have a hierarchy which appears as follows. Next, we want to associate time logical columns with logical levels. We use a different technique to associate logical columns with logical levels. We would drag the logical column from the time detail logical level, not the D4 time logical table. We will not be dragging them from here, but rather we'll be dragging them from this level here to their corresponding levels in the H4 time logical dimension. This is a convenient technique when logical columns are buried deep in the business model. So we'll go ahead and drag calendar quarter description to the quarter level, calendar year description to the year level, calendar month description to the month level, and we'll also drag grade year to the year level, and we'll drag grade quarter ID to the quarter level, and we'll also drag grade month and grade month IDs to the month level. And finally, we'll move the grade month number of grade the day number of week to the week level, and leave the remaining attributes as they are under time detail. If you preferred, you could delete all the remaining columns from the time detail level and only leave those that you wish to use in your development work. Notice that deleting objects from the hierarchy does not delete them from the logical table in the business model and mapping layer.